Badger in, the Mad Badger in right now.
Yay!
Yeah.
Woo!
Talking dogs.
I know, I'm looking at all the papers. I hadn't looked at them before. Gosh, this is some expensive stuff. Oh my god. Is it ready? Okay, I'm gonna get up in a minute and get my food. It's fun trying to eat with them around.
A Malton. It must be a Malton.
Dalton! That sounds right. I recognize that.
Here, I'll put a link into
Thank you.
our Discord
Thank
mod
you.
chat. See if that looks familiar. That does.
I appreciate that.
A Malton is a Cavacon and Maltese mix.
Oh, okay. That sounds about right. Okay. That's so funny. Like, I don't know anything about dogs. Shows you how much I know. I'm like, I don't know. She's a little dog. That's all I know. I have a dentist appointment the 10th. My temporary filling or temporary crown fell out like 3 weeks ago, and
Oh,
it's starting to go black.
oh.
Yeah.
Painful?
Huh?
Is it painful?
No, I don't feel it at all. Not at all. But I think they're going to be mad at me because if it's all decayed, then they may not be able to put the permanent crown on there. It's
Yeah.
not my fault.
I can't even get a dentist.
Really? Nobody's open
No.
yet?
No. Absolutely not. None of our dentists are open.
That's
And even
smart.
after that, they gotta fill out their backlog before they take on new patients. And I can eat. I just, I gotta wait. I could go back to Advantage Dental because I am listed with Advantage Dental, and there is an Advantage Dental here.
Yeah.
But I simply don't trust the bleeping bleepers.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
had a problem, I'd go, but I don't have a serious problem right now. I just, there are a couple things that I want fixed, and there's a hole in one tooth, and I don't want
Um,
it disintegrating. Hey.
well, that can get very painful.
Okay, except for the hummingbirds. Pay no attention to the hummingbirds. They're allowed to fight.
What's going on with the hummingbirds?
So the hummingbirds, they cannot get along. Like
Oh,
they're out there attacking each other because they. Oh no, that's the seeds. That's the seed feeder. Yeah, they come up at the same time to the feeder, and the one decides, no, my feeder, go away. And they fly off, and then
mm-hmm.
they come back, and they go at it again, and it's like they do this all day long.
Oh my goodness. I
There are
would have
three
never
out
thought of
there.
that.
There are three of them out there right now chasing each other off constantly, so none of them are getting a sip. I wonder how these poor little birds ever procreate if they're so territorial.
It's gotta be some rough sex.
It's a rough life for a hummingbird.
Uh-huh. Oh, is it just you and me, huh?
Well, Cybernaut's there. Yeah, he's trying to shift, I think.
Uh, yeah. I found a bunch of um like black themed or black starring black created movies are free this
Yeah.
month. I found a lot, so I'm gonna try to watch some of them.
Amazon came up with an entire string of movies starring black actors,
Good.
written by black writers, produced by black producers, just tons of things. And Netflix is starting to show me.
Good.
Who's the one that? Netflix showed me The Help. Have you ever seen The Help?
I haven't seen it. A lot of people don't like the idea of it because it's the white savior, saving all the black people. But I like the people in it, so I'm sure I'll watch it
Yeah.
at some point. Yeah,
So these again, I'm a little worried that it'll calm down and nothing will get changed. I don't
what
want things. I don't want things to just stay the same.
I
I
don't
don't. I don't want
under.
to have to go through this again in another couple of years.
I don't want there to be another George Floyd.
No, I don't. I don't ever want there to be another George Floyd ever again. Not ever.
Mm, as long
That's
as the asshole's in office, though.
somebody's. People have to be absolutely clear that those things need to change now. Now.
Hmm.
Now.
Yep. And I don't know what to do when it comes to assholes like the McMurtries or whatever their names are who gunned down Arbery. I don't know what to do. I mean, you can't change people like that mindset. They're broken. And I just don't know what to do when it
Social
comes to that.
social
Huh?
pressure in our own neighborhoods is
Yeah.
the very first line. We need to be seen as treating black people and other people of color with respect,
Yeah.
decency, with empathy, with the knowledge that they are targeted.
Mhm. And
And
if you see anyone acting like those McMurtry, whatever the name is, if you see anyone acting like that,
yeah,
call them out
speak
on
up.
it.
Yeah, step up, say something. Let people know this is not.
It's not
We
all right. It's not
do
acceptable.
not accept racism in our communities.
Nope. We gotta weed it out.
I mean, I'm
And
not. I am personally. I'm not going to uh, the large scale protests.
yeah,
To me, it's just not safe with me there, and
yeah,
not because of physical safety, but because of the COVID situation. I'm
yeah.
not. I'm not going to engage in the protests. However,
Mhm.
I can do just as much here. I can do just as much when I go out. You know, I can insist that the people in my community are treated with decency and respect.
Mhm.
I'm
You
lucky
know,
that I live. I'm lucky that I live in a city where pretty much everyone gets treated with decency and respect.
you are lucky. Not every place is like that. I was just reading in Salem, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody caught like a cop on camera telling Proud Boys, "I have to arrest you so that it doesn't look like I'm showing you favoritism." That's
Proud Boys shouldn't be out there with the police.
yeah, I
They should
agree.
not be out there with the police. Look, you are not an official militia. Go home.
Yeah, go
Go put
home.
your guns at home. We don't need your protection. We just need the cops to treat our black community with decency and respect.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times I have to say that. Decency and respect.
I don't understand why anyone has to say it. It should be just implicit
Mhm.
to all people. I'm getting a lot of flack on Facebook from my more liberal friends because I'm, you know, saying things like, violence is not the answer. Shooting cops is not the answer. Well, they shouldn't shoot people first. I'm like, look, I'm just saying everyone deserves to be treated with respect. I'm,
Well, right now I
Mhm.
don't like the violence, and some of the violence is being stoked by people who are not part of those movements.
Oh, I know they're not. I absolutely know they're not. That's the thing. The
People
people who are
people
stoking it, yeah.
people who are part of the protests, who are becoming angry
Mhm.
enough to be violent. I can understand why,
Yeah.
because all this time, all these protests, all these moments, and we still have not gotten it right.
Yeah, I know.
Far before Martin Luther King, we have been attempting to fix this racial divide in our country, to try to fix this inherent racist society we have, and we still have not fixed it.
No.
I understand why people are. are angry enough to, become violent. I don't like it.
Mm.
I can't say that I would do that myself, but I have to say that I understand why they're angry enough to do it.
And most of the people who are being violent are the protesters. I mean, that's just the simple fact. The protesters I've seen are marching and they're saying, you know,
Yeah,
George Floyd, say his name, no justice, no peace, but they're marching. The people who are doing the violence, in most of the cases, I think they just, I don't know if they want attention, they're just acting out. I don't know. And
there are a lot of pro looters out there. That's what they do. That's what they do for a lifetime is
uh-huh.
that they loot. They take advantage of situations, and they're not part of the protests either.
Well,
And no, you need to just go home.
yeah, they don't care about George Floyd. And I mean, I saw it. I saw them. And they were just in there, they were getting stuff. And it wasn't, I don't want it to make it sound like I'm saying that it wasn't just black people. It was, I saw a lot of white people going in, getting stuff, and just getting out, especially with the Target. That's another reason why I know it has nothing to do with George Floyd. It has what to do with people getting in and getting stuff. And I think that's shameful.
Huh. Well, let's see. About 5 minutes ago, a man was arrested for pointing a handgun at protesters down on the boardwalk.
That's not good. There in Coos Bay?
Yeah.
Oh
Brandon
shit.
Moore, 36, of Coos Bay, was identified by Coos Bay police with the help of several citizens. Moore was arrested for allegedly menacing and disorderly conduct in the second degree.
Jesus Christ, what the hell's going on with these
I
people?
don't I don't see anywhere where, protesters have been arrested or pushed around,
Good.
and the police did the right thing. The police said, we have two events going on in the city at the same time. Yes, we will have a police presence there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't expect any trouble.
Mm-hmm.
If you're peacefully protesting, all
There
we're
should
gonna be
be no
doing is
trouble.
standing around. That's we literally do not expect any trouble from the protesters. We
But,
have a good neighborhood here.
but
Assuming making the assumption that the community is a good one, that's good. You know?
did you see what happened in Washington D.C. Monday night?
uh,
Yeah, Park.
no.
I watched it. Um, it was before curfew. People were peacefully protesting,
No.
standing around in Lafayette Park outside of the White House, and Trump decided he wanted to take a photo op in front.
Oh,
You know what I'm
yeah,
talking
in
about?
front of the church. Yeah, I saw that.
There's video of police officers slamming into people, tear gassing them, rubber bullets, the
Yep,
whole 9 yards.
there's
They,
been a huge
They
uproar over that.
they claimed there was no tear gas used. I
no, it was.
Bullcrap,
suspect
because you can see it on the videos.
it could have been smoke grenades. I mean, I don't
No.
know. But either way, I really hope that sends a message to you know some of his supporters about
I
what
hope
he
so.
really is like.
Apparently, it
'Cause-
has because new even over the weekend, even over the past 12 hours, I've been seeing the new projections coming out that say a lot of his supporters are like,
Nope.
nope, we're done.
yeah, well, I don't mean to just make you all sad and everything, but I've been all over YouTube and MeWe, and I've circled up a couple of people that would not be in my normal like sphere, I guess you would call it. And there's still people out there who drank the Kool-Aid. I mean, I'm just, I don't know, amazed that people can believe what they believe and support this guy because he's a cad. He's a real cad.
You know what? A lot of it is what news channel they're watching. Because my uncle's
Ah,
girlfriend, I didn't say anything because she was super sweet to me when my mother was sick, and then after my mother died, but didn't say anything. But she showed a video from Fox News of Trump doing the walk to the church, and that's all it showed. It didn't show any protesters, no tear gas. It
Oh,
didn't mention that. And in her caption, she said, "Oh, look, what a sweet moment." And I was like,
yeah.
yeah, even Fox News is kind of starting to turn on
Good.
him. I mean,
I'm glad.
yeah, the whole photo op thing, and I love the reporter's question: "Is that your Bible?" And his response
No,
was, "It's a Bible."
A Bible.
Yeah,
they even held it upside down.
yeah. Well, and he kicked the priest out of the church that runs the church. That's like, honestly, really, who does that?
He pissed off the Episcopalian bishop lady. She was pissed. I don't blame
Oh
her.
yeah.
He pissed Episcopalian off.
Yep. She was
Yeah. Chase
pissed.
said that's what.
She was
Chase said that's
totally
what.
working.
Chase said that's what he would be considered as an Episcopalian.
Angry.
I am.
That's
I
our
am a. I
version.
am. I am a Catholic denier. I am
That
denying.
part.
I am denying my inherent Catholic nature, having been
Catholicism.
Catholic nature, having been
That's-
baptized into the Catholic Church. I deny being part of the Catholic community.
Yeah, I've done them all. That's
Nope.
Pentecostal, Lutheran, Baptist. Baptist was actually some fun one.
Mm.
But
Okay.
yeah, I don't subscribe to none of them. I mean, I appreciate the messages that are passed,
Yeah.
during mass, that are like, uplifting and what would Jesus do moments and all that other crap.
Yeah,
But
because Church of England is pretty much the same as Episcopalian. Yeah, Anglican.
Yeah,
Well,
the
Church
Episcopalian
of England
our
is
version.
Church of England's the King's Church. I mean, that's the king.
Yeah, but
The
it's
king is
English.
the right hand of God. Right hand of
Yeah,
God.
but it's
so-
not. It's not Catholic.
Yeah,
It's Protestant. It's
And-
the English version of Protestant.
yeah. Catholics are no better. I just, I don't know. I can't get behind any of them. They're all, in my opinion, they're all wrong. No offense to the Jews, but even the Jews, you're all wrong. Mormons, oh my God,
Yeah.
so far. Ah, the South Park episode that explains it all is, I don't know if anybody's ever watched South Park here, but there's a South Park episode where it's all about the beliefs of the Mormon Church, and
Yep.
it's totally ridiculous. And at the end, they explain that no, we didn't make any of this up. This is actually all in their doctrine. This is what they believe.
Yeah,
And I just
magic underwear.
magic underwear and the golden tablets that no one can see but the guy who translated them, and oh yeah, okay,
I don't get that.
whatever. People want something to hang on to that's better than themselves, and sadly that's what they do. And I mean, look at the world around us. There's a lot of things that you can look far and wide, not find
Right
anything
hand,
better than
okay.
yourself. It's a sad world we live in. It's a beautiful world we live in. That's a Devo tune.
I'm
let
actually,
me
seeing,
get-
I'm actually seeing friends on
You
Facebook who are planning on going on their Carnival cruises.
Yeah, you would
Not
not
me, I don't-
you would
And,
not get me on one of those tin cans.
and-
No
and
freaking
I-
way.
And I am just,
I'm never
you
ever.
guys have fun with that. Do not come visit me.
You could give me a sack of poker chips and a high stake poker game on that ship, and I would not get on. No friggin' way.
You could buy me a $20,000 first class ticket and I
You could
wouldn't take it.
you could
I
buy
would
me you
not
could
take
buy
it.
me that boat short of letting me kick everybody off of it. I
Exactly.
won't get on it. No way.
Yep.
No
No.
freaking way.
No. No.
And
No.
the stock market has lost its friggin' mind. Jay will attest
Yes,
to
it's
this.
crazy. Oh, there are stocks I wish I had been able to get because they're just going out of sight. And then
It hurts.
it's not it was Hertz the one that went down, but its stock went out of sight.
Yeah, Hertz declared bankruptcy like Saturday or Monday of this week. My wife messaged me and said,
Oh,
I
that's
hope
nice.
you didn't invest in Hertz
Alright.
because they just went bankrupt. And I was like, well, thankfully, no, I didn't invest in Hertz. And I went and glanced back at their stock, and their stock's just been this downward spiral for the last 5 years. So there's no way I ever would have invested in it. But their stock went down to like 50 cents, and they were trading over $3
Wow.
at close on Friday. And I was like, what?
How did it go up so much?
Because people
How did it
speculate.
go 50?
Pe-
Huh?
People speculate. So
Oh.
here's the mentality. You've declared bankruptcy. Your stock is almost nothing. That makes you ripe for a hostile takeover. Somebody would come in and swoop up all your
Oh.
stock for 50 cents a share and buy your company for peanuts. Get a controlling interest in the company. And I mean, you think something like Avis or one of the competitors would want to
Mhm.
do that? And then suddenly your Hertz stock that cost you 50 cents converts over to Avis stock, which is, trading at, a healthy $20 or something. So, I mean, it's not an uncommon thing for that to happen, but I kind of wish I'd
Oh.
thought of that just so I could get in when it was so low, buy 100 shares, and then get the hell out on Friday when it jumped up so much.
Oh.
Collect that 100% or 200% or whatever the hell profit was. That's the nature of the stock market. And look at Boeing. Oh my God, Boeing on Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know if you guys played the little video clip of the cockpit voice in a Boeing 747 going,
No.
terrain, pull up, pull up, pull up. Because that's exactly what their stock did, and it's just been going. I went from being, I went from being a lot of money in the hole to being a lot of money on the positive in just a matter of 3 days. And I bought into. See, my mentality was, Boeing's not going anywhere. United's not going anywhere. Delta's not going anywhere. American Airlines isn't going anywhere. My mentality when all this started
I
is
don't know. Remember,
their businesses are going to feel some pain,
airlines do go out of business.
but they have a lot of capital. Those planes are not cheap, and they laid off a lot of their workers. Their pilots aren't flying. They're not paying out as much as you might think they might be. They
Yeah.
can weather this pretty good, and so long as we come out of this within 6 months or a year, I think they're going to be okay. Maybe it may not be immediate, but I think they're going to be okay. So I invested heavily in the airline stocks, and I got in way too early. I got in like a week or 2 weeks too early before they bottomed out, and I was just miserable. I was like, oh my God, I'm swimming in this Boeing stock. I'm never gonna. It doesn't matter how good this other stock over here does. It's never gonna make up for how much Boeing stock I own.
Because J.C. Penney decided to keep their main stores, they were allowed to keep trading.
Yeah.
They had their stocks had been frozen. They started trading again today and went from, I think it was like 15 cents all the way up to 30 cents.
Yeah.
And then bottomed out at 28.
There's what is it called? VIX Angel. I think it's called VIX Angel or something like. Let me go pop onto Robinhood and look.
Yeah, because J.C. Penney was saying all our stores are closing. And then they decided to keep their main ones, the ones in Maine, and they were allowed to keep trading.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. There's iShares Fallen Angels USD Bond ETF and Van Eck Vectors Fallen Angel High Yield Bond. And what those are is they're packaged stocks, and there's somebody who runs the stock, and they find these companies like Hertz and like J.C.
Mm-hmm.
Penney that
Yeah.
have declared bankruptcy, about to go out of business, whatever, and they buy speculative stock for pennies on the share in the hope that something will happen, and then suddenly their stock's going to take off.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you don't want to like have to nitpick through all the guys that are going out of business and stuff, invest in one of those. Their yields are pretty freaking good, but they fluctuate a lot. I mean, you got to be prepared to my best advice is to buy low, sell high on those. Like get in when it's when the getting's good, and
See,
then
I don't want to do day trading. I am happy where I am
yeah,
right now. I am up a total of $27, and that's only like I've only been in this like a month,
I'm up 60%.
and I'm super high. Yeah, I'm up 45%. I'm happy with that. I'm
Yeah,
happy with that. You know,
I've been what I've been doing is I've been so I look basically the way I do it is I look at the stocks for the last 5 years, determine whether they're like a viable business. A viable business is either going to be a completely flat line or uptrending. You don't want
yeah.
one that's just like down from $30 5 years ago down to like 27 cents now. Oh,
Sorry, my fault. Sorry, hold on,
pull up.
It's-
But so I'll look at their past history and see if they're actually a real company, and then I'll look at the last year, and then I look at what happened to them right around February, March, April, right when COVID basically broke in this country, and if I see that they're down like 50%, 75%, whatever, they're down way more than they should be, I might invest in them. And I'll hang on to that stock until it gets either almost to the point where it was before we went into this mess, or to the point, or maybe even a little above if I think maybe they should have continued that upward trend.
yeah.
And I'll just set a sell limit on it. So like my Disney, I bought Disney at $86, and I think I sold it at 100 and
Oh, that's
uh,
nice.
where did I? Yeah, I definitely, I think I sold it like 120 or $140. And the only reason I sold it is because their dividend wasn't all that good. And they weren't really gaining that much, day to day.
Yeah.
So I took the money from that, and I found something else that had way more upside, and I just invested in that. I've got like maybe, I don't know, 30 stocks that I'm watching. And, as long as they look like they're going to be viable stocks, I'm going to keep putting money into them. And my long-term goal is to kind of shuffle things into things that have dividends so that I can continue to collect just by holding the stock. As long as that company doesn't go out of business, doesn't completely collapse, I'll collect the dividend every 3 months, 4 months, every 4 months.
Yeah, the dividends are something I don't quite understand yet. That's
So you see a lot of really high interest dividends in the real estate investment sectors, because the way real estate investment works is they take the money that you invest in stock and they use it to buy real estate that they then
yeah.
earn income on. They then take their profits from that income, turn it into dividends, and pay it out to their investors.
Gee, I hope they're not investing in real estate here in Coos Bay.
Well, real estate's kind of a sketchy market, because I mean, if you looked at the stock markets for the last 2 days, the stock market truly believes everyone's going to pay their rent next month and their mortgage. because they've been up. And I don't
Not gonna happen
necessarily,
here.
yeah, I don't necessarily think that that's going to be the case. So and so right now I'm looking. There's going to be another major downturn at some point. Whether it's another outbreak of COVID or whether it's, people didn't pay their mortgages and their rents, or whatever it may be. There's going to be, I think, probably within another week or two, another major downturn in the market. So right now I'm just trying to build up, enough of a portfolio that I can start selling things off here, have some cash sitting in my account, and then when we have that downturn, put that money back in.
So, are you actually doing day trading, or you just?
I've technically not done a single day trade yet. So
Okay.
so a day
Because I
trade,
know Robinhood kind of frowns on that, don't they?
yeah, you have to be playing with big boy money on Robinhood to avoid the day trade penalties. You get, I think, 4 of them before they penalize you.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, and a day trade is basically you buy a stock you buy and sell the same stock on the same day. So
Yeah.
you buy, I don't know, Honeywell at, I don't know what's Honeywell trading at. I don't have my screen set up to the right thing. My Honeywell stock's about to pop. So you buy Honeywell at $159 and you buy 100 shares of it, and then later that day it's up to $161 and you sell it. And
Mhm.
that's how a lot of day traders make their living, is they just very small incremental changes in stocks. They'll make a bunch of money, they'll sell it, and then they'll hold on to that cash till they find another stock that they know is going to go up in another day or two, and then they'll put their money there and just
I
kind of
wouldn't.
ride that wave. It's
I
a lot of
wouldn't
work.
even. Yeah, I wouldn't even have the time for that.
I don't have the time for that. There's a pandemic and there's a curfew. I don't have time for that. You got to be careful about that though, Che, because I know I recommended 2 to you, was MFA and was it IVR? Yeah, IVR. I think IVR is paying out on their dividend later this month.
I only have 5 shares of IVR.
Yeah, you had to own the stock on the 19th of May to get the payout. I still don't understand where they picked the dates. So let me look at my history here. Um, yeah, IVR pays out on June 30th, and it's based on you owning the stock on May 19th. So if you own stock on, they just picked the day and said, if you own stock this day, you're getting paid that day.
Okay, so it says dividend yield 55.87. What does 55.87 mean? Is
Let
that
me act.
percentage?
I think it's percentage of the cost of the stock, but I'm not sure. Let me actually look at IVR stock. So how much is IVR trading for right now?
452.
So my payout was 50 cents a share. My average buy-in on IVR is $4.
Yeah.
So I'm not making much money on the stock, but I'm making 50 cents a damn share. uh, so at some point I will pay for I guess 8 cycles worth. So 2 years. If I hold the IVR stock for 8 cycles, 8 quarters,
Yeah.
I basically pay for the cost of the stock, and then
So,
everything's icing.
so do they pay dividends out every quarter?
So far, they have. MFA, on the
So
other hand,
who decides when they pay dividends? Do they decide?
the board so like I said, IVR is another. It's a REIT, or a real estate investment thing, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So they're pretty much, their profits are going into those dividends. When they stop making profit, the board gets very concerned, right?
Yeah.
and they may cut dividends. MFA did that. Quarter one dividends for MFA were not paid out. I'm hoping quarter two dividends will be paid out on MFA, because right now I'm swimming in MFA stock, but it may not, and I'm okay with that because I'm getting MFA stock at like, I really want to say it's under $2 a share. It's
Yeah.
and I think the payout on that is like 20 cents a quarter, so 20 cents per share. So it might take me a little longer to actually, make enough money off of MFA to
Yeah.
justify the cost of the stock. But that's kind of my end goal, is to, yeah, I got it at $1.69.
Yeah, I don't mind sitting around as long as,
Yeah, no, that's
I
that's
really
entire.
I really I don't want to I don't want the stock to tank, but I don't mind sitting around with stock, just doing whatever until they pay out dividends. That
I-
doesn't bother me.
and you remember I mentioned in our Discord chat that my wife had done some digging around on the internet and discovered that we have money coming to us,
Mhm.
and it's actually money that's owed to us from my mother's account, because she had, uh, what did they used to call it? It was a life insurance policy through MetLife. And the way life insurance used to work is you weren't buying a policy, you were buying stock. And MetLife would put that stock, put the money you paid them in regular payments into stock
Yeah.
that paid dividends. So when she retired, she started pulling all her dividends. So she was getting, I don't know, thousands of dollars every year added to her,
Wow.
Social Security and stuff, off all those dividends she paid for all those years. And, after she passed
Now,
away, we closed out of that account, but we still have over $2,000 coming to us from dividends that were paid out, in
now
that period of
how
time.
now how do you know how taxation works on dividends?
They're taxed like income. But see, here's the thing: you don't have to take the dividend as a cash output. You can invest it in other stock that
So
pays dividends.
if you take that and roll it over into other stock, do you still get taxed the worth of I mean, do you have
No,
to report it?
no,
No?
your stock does not count as income, because it's not something you can go to like, you can't go to the store and say, yeah, I'll buy you, I'd like that candy bar there, I'll give you a share of GoPro. You can't do it. You have to convert that to money, which means you have to sell your stock. Once you sell your stock,
Yeah. Then
then
you have
there's a
cash.
profit, then there's a capital gains, and that's where capital gains tax come in.
So
But I
capital
mean,
gains
if
is essentially just an income tax. Does it go
yeah,
by state?
no,
Am I
no,
gonna if I cash out a stock, am I gonna have to pay an Oregon percentage, or is it?
oh yeah, I don't actually know that. I know there's a federal tax. I'm sure there's a state tax, but
Okay, so that means I'm gonna if I make a certain amount of money off my stocks, then I'm gonna have to do a federal return.
depends on how much you make and how much. Again, it depends on your income, right? If you're still below the line of having to
Yeah,
deal with that, then you're. Yeah,
I'm gonna
there's a
have to ask
report in
H&R
Robinhood. If
Block.
if you
Yeah,
if you
they give you the form, yeah, but I kind of I just want to know how it works.
yeah, if you go in Robinhood and you go to your account and then choose
Yeah,
documents, there's like a monthly statement, and that'll give you that's actually the other nice thing about Robinhood. They give you that monthly statement. You can go on that statement and it will show you what your projected annual is from the dividends that you hold.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, and they're basically assuming, yeah, you're never going to cash in your stock, but you're going to cash in your dividends. But then you still have the option. You can roll your dividends back into your stock buying, and as long as
Which
your money's.
for quite a while, I will be doing that.
Yeah, well, and
Yeah.
and that's the other nice thing. As long as your money is sitting in Robinhood, it's not.
Oh, here it is. Okay, Robinhood Securities account statement.
Yeah, yeah. That's the one you
Okay.
want. So that'll show you all the
Mm.
dividends you got coming to you, and it projects out for a year. So you have to understand that generally dividends are paid quarterly. So when you get a dividend payment, it's
Oh,
not going to
yeah.
be that amount. It's going to be a fourth of that or somewhere in that vicinity. Some dividends kind of fluctuate around. Some are pretty steady. I think the
See, now if we do a $50 investment every month, this is going to go up by quite a quite
yeah,
a bit,
no,
you know.
this is compound interest, right?
I'm
Benjamin
hoping
Franklin.
I'm hoping that, $50 worth of investments every month is going to be a good idea.
It you know what? Well, it can't hurt.
What, Jay? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. $50 for each of us. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I mean, that's,
I got
because that's what we would have spent on the phones. Now we've paid off the phones. We have that money to spend on our investments.
but you don't.
I'm still nervous. I'm still nervous as hell about actually doing investments. Robinhood has
If
made it a whole lot more friendly.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more accessible. There are some downsides to Robinhood, but I got to tell you, for the novice investor, you're not going to notice 99% of them.
Yeah.
If you're not into day trading, and it's gonna get you 85-90% of the way there.
Yeah.
And for someone like you don't have a 401k to fall on, right?
No, I only have, I only have
Yeah,
the VA. That's
yeah,
it, just VA
you have
disability.
your benefits, your VA, and Social Security, maybe, right?
No Social Security until I'm 62.
Right, but I'm saying for retirement purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
Now I will when I'm 62, I will get both Social Security for disability, and I will get my regular Social Security that, of all my payout from, employment. But
yeah, no, but this is
62, that's a long time
this
from now.
I know, but this is my point though, is you don't have a traditional job where you
No.
have
No, I
benefits
do
and
not.
you have a retirement plan and you have all that. So this is a very good way for you to take care of your own retirement and
Yes.
not have to worry about what's going to happen when I get to the point where I can't make money doing this, that, or the other. You know,
Yes.
right? So
Robinhood
I
has made it's made it a lot more friendly, and obviously, non-traditional type. It's it's if I had wanted to do like regular investment, I was already throwing up my hands, going, nope, no. I've seen the horror that can cause, and I didn't want to do it
yeah, you
until
can
now.
really get yourself into trouble with investments. If you really want to fall down a rabbit hole, look at options trading. Oh my God, you can make a
Oh my
$5
God.
bet and lose $500. It's so easy. But you could gain 1,000. And for some people, there's the risk versus reward. Well, the worst case is I lose $505. The best case is I gain 995. And they kind
Yeah.
of weigh that and they go, there's way more reward than there is risk. But I don't have $500 to play with. I can't play
Yeah.
that game. That's crazy. That's crazy talk.
Yep.
But I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, and to me that would just be a thrill ride. I can't bring myself to do it. But
Yeah.
if you know what you're doing, it's a good way to make money. The people that made the most money, when the stock market almost nearly completely collapsed during the housing bubble thing,
Yeah.
those people were all trading options. They were making bets on the housing market to crumble. And
Yeah.
when it was all said and done with, they still got screwed because they got paid 10 cents on the dollar because the
Yeah.
insurance companies didn't have the money to pay them out. So they got 10 cents on the dollar and they still became multimillionaires overnight.
Yeah. Uh, well, I'm not looking to become a multi-million-dollar overnight. I mean, it wouldn't be bad, but you know.
No, I'm playing with crazy money right now. I just, but this is I'm essentially playing with my retirement. The last two times, this has happened to me twice before. I survived the .com bubble barely, lost my job,
Mm-hmm.
and because I'd lost my job and had no prospects because IT was completely flat at that point. You still there?
Yep. Still here.
Okay.
You there?
Yeah. My headphones went silent for a second. There's usually a little hiss, but I lost my job, and because I'd lost my job, I didn't have any income. I had a little bit of unemployment. I had some little part-time piddly things to kind of extend my unemployment out, but I didn't really have a real income. So I ended up cashing in what I had for 401k. So that money went poof, and 30% of it went back to the government because I cashed in my 401k early.
Yeah.
And then during the .com bubble was right when I'd lost my job at University of Illinois and took the job out here, and I lost my investment because I lost half of what was in my account because I wasn't fully vested. So it was I worked there 4.5 years, and 5 years was vesting point. So I lost. They had a really good program too. You put $1 in, they put $1 in. That was the way.
Now, see,
Yeah, I know.
I do have money in Winco, but again,
What's
I can't
Winco?
touch that until I'm 62. Winco is the employer that I worked for.
Oh,
The last employer I worked for. And it has an employer stock system. But once you put money into that, and you're required to put money in it every month, you don't really have a choice. You don't get anything back from that until retirement.
right.
Nothing. So again, that's another gotta wait till I'm 62 kind of thing. Can't buy it, can't sell it, can't do anything, and hopefully they're still there when I'm 62.
Yeah, that's the other. Yeah.
Yeah, we hope.
Yeah, so that happened to me, and then the second time it happened to me was, like I said, I left U of
Got a
I,
new
and that was.
follower? Oh, cool, we got a new follower.
Hello.
Yay.
So I figured this time, if I'm going to lose my retirement or half of my retirement, it's going to be on me. So I don't have a 401k right now. I've got a 403b because of where I work.
Yeah.
And my 403b allows me to take up to 50% of my retirement as a loan. I have to pay the loan back, 5% interest, but I pay the interest to myself. So basically, I get a big chunk of money, and then they take it back out of my paychecks for the next, 5 years or however long I took the loan out for. That's what I'm playing with on Robinhood. So I have right now I have half my retirement fund on Robinhood.
On Robinhood. Oh
Yeah.
man, that's scary. Lola, what are you drinking?
Quite scary.
It's what I've been drinking. It's half Cayman Jack, half New Belgium Nitro Cold Brew.
That bloody Cayman Jack, and I can't get it anymore. They don't have it.
They don't?
No.
That sucks.
Is that like a? I gotta ask. Is that
It's
like
a margarita?
Yeah.
Is that like a Smirnoff Ice or something?
It's malt. It's malt liquor. A malt beer.
It's a malt. Okay. It's a malt beverage that tastes like a margarita. It's really delicious.
I use it to for any beer that I don't like. I mix it with that, and it pretty much overpowers the other beer.
Well, there you go.
Sorry, New Belgium.
So if you get a cruddy beer, just get a bunch of Cayman Jack. You're all good.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I tried a couple of times some of the crazy malt liquor stuff that you get at the 7-Eleven for a couple of bucks, like that Four Loko.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, no, I can't. Oh, I got the worst stomach ache trying that crap.
Awful.
It's horrible. Don't drink it. Just don't. Lovely people of the universe, just Do
Don't do
not
it.
drink Four
Like,
Loko. Do not drink the
Please
Michelob
don't.
Steel.
Love
Do
yourself.
not.
yeah, how do you screw
I
something like
can
that up? I'll be honest with you. How do you screw up booze? Come on.
I know, right? Just
easily
go and get a
overdo
decent
I
vodka
mean,
for sake.
even Bartles and James got it right, for God's sakes. Come on.
Yeah, and Smirnoff is still out there. Go and get a Smirnoff. You may as well.
They're not that great
If
either.
you're that desperate, put some vodka in a Red Bull. If you're
Don't do
that
that.
desperate.
You'll get a heart attack. Don't no. Don't put
You're not
alcohol.
going to get a heart attack from a little vodka in a Red Bull. You're
People
not going to
die
get a heart
from
attack.
Yes, you will.
You're going to get more of a heart attack from freaking Four Loko with all that guiney, whatever the heck it is. I can't even pronounce it.
Wow.
It is,
That is
and it
the thing.
tastes awful. Tastes disgusting.
I'll tell you, for a number of years, I don't do energy drinks anymore unless I gotta have an energy drink. Like I don't do
Coffee.
coffee, so. But for years, actually not all that long ago, my go-to choice was a Rockstar and Jack. What a great combo!
Rockstar. Why Rockstar? I mean that.
It has
I mean
just
it's not
kind
the
of a
worst. It's not
tart
the worst.
punch to
but-
it. It's not like Monster. Monster's
Yes.
just nasty.
Monster's disgusting.
And Red Bull's good with like some Jaeger or vodka, or actually Red Bull kind of mixes with a lot of things.
Red
It's
Bull
good.
mixes with a whole lot of stuff. I
Yeah.
used to get those little Red Bull drinks at the coffee place. They'd actually
Ah.
mix it with my coffee.
I was drinking Red Bull way before there was Red Bull. They have this thing in.
Dutch Brothers. Dutch Brothers. Dutch Brothers is the coffee place up here.
Oh.
I'd have them mix it with my coffee.
It was like, no, it's not called Dutch Brothers. So before there was Red Bull, in the Philippines it was Bacchus. No, in Korea it was Bacchus D. In the Philippines it's Vita something Vita.
I used to drink that.
Yeah, and
I love the taste of it.
Yeah,
I love
it's
it. Used to
Red
come in
Bull
these
without
little
the
green
carbonation.
bottles.
yeah.
It
It's-
used to come in these little green bottles. I look from the time I was like 16. I drank one of those and I was like, "Oh, this tastes like green
It's
apple and
it's-
heaven."
Yeah, it's like green apple grape, and it's
Yes.
syrupy and full of caffeine. It just
was
didn't have the
delicious.
carbonation. That's the only thing Red Bull did. They went overseas, found that, and said, "Man, this is marvelous. It just needs some bubbles." That's the only
Yeah.
thing Red Bull did. They threw bubbles in it.
And they threw bubbles in it, and ding, they had a winner.
Mhm.
Oh man, you can still get that stuff here. Every once in a while, you can find it. The
Oh,
little the little Vita bottles.
what are those called? I'm trying to remember.
Oh man, Vita something. I can't. Vita. It's Vita something. Because I remember when they first brought it to the United States. Ah,
I can't find it. I
I can't find it either. It's driving me nuts.
Lipovitan.
Lipovita. That's what it was. Lipovita.
Lipovitan. That's what I called it. Lipovitan. Lipovitan.
Yes. There it is. There it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, so
Stuff
there was
delicious.
Lipovitan back in the 80s, and there was also Bacchus D, which was sold in Korean stores. And
Yeah.
somehow I managed to find both of those when I was in those countries, and I was like, yes, thank you. This is now my coffee. I used to buy it in 6-packs. They come in a
See,
little.
now I gotta be really careful with that stuff because
Oh, yeah,
I love the
it's-
taste of it, and I just can't handle all that.
Too much
intense.
it's a ton of
It,
caffeine. Ton of
it's too
caffeine.
much for me. It is too much for me.
And what makes it really good, and that's the other reason I like Red Bull so much, I think, is they mix it with niacin. And so you've got
Oh,
caffeine and you got niacin. Niacin goes
yep.
into your all your little blood vessels, all your
Yeah.
what do you call capillaries. Goes into your
Yeah. It
capillaries
just
and
goes
opens them up.
whoop.
Yeah, it opens them up so all that
and
caffeine can
then
get in there.
and
And
then you can smell space.
yeah, and capillaries are primarily what feed your brain, right? So
Yeah.
all the capillaries in your brain open up, and then here comes all that lovely caffeine and sugar. Wah!
And that was another reason why I liked the Lipovitan
Mhm.
was because I've always had a problem with my sinuses, and it would open up my sinuses without me having to take Benadryl, which put me to sleep. It felt great.
It's a good balancing act, right? Yeah, I won't touch Red Bull or not Red. I'll do a Red Bull now and again. I won't touch Rockstar anymore because that
No, no
I think
Rockstar, no Monster anymore, no Red Bull for me. No,
well
no.
that's how I kind of self-diagnosed myself with what do you call it, like metabolic disease. That I had a really bad case of hypoglycemia for a while, and that was the thing that did it. Is like I would go into this like state where I was a little bit confused. Like I would feel the confusion coming on. I would get kind of hot and clammy and kind of a little sweaty and nervous. And the thing that would fix me was some Rockstar. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me why. Am I just addicted to the caffeine? It wasn't the caffeine, it was all the sugar
Yeah,
in the Rockstar would bring my blood sugar back up to par, and then I'd be okay for a while. But then, of course, you're going to crash again because sugar high.
yeah.
And what finally pulled me out of that was the high protein diet that I went on. I cut out all the damn carbs. I cut out all the sugar. I don't have sugar straight up anymore. I might have a small piece of cake or a cookie here and there, but I don't
I
consume sugar
struggled.
the way I used to.
I struggled a bit today. It's my cravings are nowhere near as bad as they used to be. I struggled a bit today when I went to get the beers because I was faced with cookies and chips, and I really wanted them. But because we've spent so much time putting stuff on the grill,
Yeah,
I was able to go. It'd be nice for about 30 seconds, and then I wouldn't feel so great.
yeah,
And I was able to walk past it. But like a month or two ago, that would have been a struggle of heroic proportions, and I probably would have gotten one of those bags of chips or even some of those cookies and inhaled it before I got home and stashed the the evidence in a
oh,
can
I'll,
somewhere.
well, beer's still my guilty pleasure because it's loaded with carbs. But I'll tell you the thing that's really been like nagging at me is every freaking checkout has them. Reese's, freaking Reese's
Oh,
peanut butter
Reese's peanut
cups.
butter cups.
And my real weakness is the giant cups, the big ones that have like the extra thick layer of chocolate on them. Oh
So
God!
you're the person that I should not be sending the 5-pound Reese's peanut butter
No,
cup
no,
to.
I will consume that thing. Good God, it's
I
and
couldn't. There's no way I could eat one of those either. No way.
it's it's totally annoying because they have all these freaking commercials on TV, right?
Yep.
And it just goes to show you how well advertising works. I'll be sitting here not thinking about it, not even thinking about it. I'll walk through a store and not even see them sitting on the shelf. But you show me one of those commercials, and then suddenly it's in my head, and I'm just like I can see them out of the corner of my eye. There they are, right there. They're right there. I could get one right now. I could.
Advertisements very much work on me. Billboards, TV ads,
Mhm.
and that's one of the reasons why we don't have regular TV anymore because those advertisements Man, they work on me incredibly well. I see it, I hear it, I want it.
They're geared to sell you products. That was one of the
Yeah.
most telling stories of advertising I can ever remember hearing about. Was I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but there was a Netflix documentary about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yes.
You remember He-Man and the Masters, right?
Oh yeah.
That was 900% marketing. They created a toy line and wrote a comic and a animated series around the toy line so they could sell toys.
The power of Grayskull.
Yeah, that was in there's the and they all the people in that documentary or the people that worked on it are like, well, I had this idea, and it was funny too because one of the guys was like, yeah, I've got He-Man and I've got She-Ra and I've got uh this something, or what was it? I can't remember some of the other characters. And then the aquatic guy, he called Seaman, and he's like, guys, you got to help me with this one. This one's not gonna. This one's gonna stick. I can't call it Seaman.
Yeah.
It's Skullman. Yeah, Skeletor
Skeletor.
was supposed to be Skullman. Yeah,
Yeah, Power of Grayskull is still on Netflix.
yeah, yeah. That's the Power of Grayskull. That's the name of the documentary. Yeah,
Yep.
if you've not seen it, I highly recommend it. It will tune you in to exactly how far toy companies go to market to young people.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yep.
They created this entire other franchise around selling toys.
Yeah.
It's Disney. Yeah, I think he just said Disney, didn't he? I can't hear him.
Freud's nephew. Edward Burney.
No.
Freud's nephew and the origins of public relations in the 1920s and 30s. Sigmund Freud's nephew, Edward Bernays, used his uncle's ideas, sometimes to Freud's consternation, to help create the new field of public relations.
Yeah, public relations.
Well, there's a lot of psycho stuff going on in advertising.
That's this is why we may never
No
have.
wonder. It's no wonder I wound up with a love of Taco Bell, dude.
Bong. There's something about that bong, right?
Yes. And it's not that the food tastes good.
No, it does not taste good.
It's not
good
that
Mexican
it tastes good
food.
because there is no real flavor to it.
No, there is.
It's the feeling I get being a kid, remembering how my mom took me to Taco Bell before an operation.
No, there's a flavor to it. It's salt, MSG,
Sugar,
and simulated beef byproduct.
simulated beef byproduct.
Yeah. Yeah. Gee. That sounds vaguely familiar. Oh yeah. Well, let me tell you that story. My mom was a smoker, and she told me about the first time she smoked a cigarette. and it was probably in the 1940s, and she had gotten into an argument with her mother, and she went down to the store, bought a pack of cigarettes, came back and sat down on the front porch and smoked a cigarette in front of her mother because it was cool. Oh.
Well, look at my dad. My dad didn't smoke until he came to the United States. Yeah.
It's it's still it's still marketed. I just rewatched the first season and first time watched the second season of Counterpart, and on I don't know if it's Earth or Earth Prime. I think it's Earth. On Earth, yeah, because Earth Prime is the health conscious people. On Earth, there's still cigarettes, and everybody on freaking Earth is smoking cigarettes. And you can see, like you can always tell, like an Earth Primer, because they're always rolling their eyes at the Earthers, because they're smoking cigarettes all the time, and it's like, put that thing out. Oh, it's disgusting. But I got to tell you, every time I see somebody light up on the screen, I was like, yeah, I get that. I totally get that. Mm.
And
Oh, if you look at like back into the 40s and 50s, like even game shows were like hosted by, brought to you by Chesterfield. What a great smoke this is! And the guy would like light one up right there. Oh yeah, it's
now, see,
toasted.
I feel lucky. I feel lucky that there is no way that ever would have been able to work on me, because I literally can't smoke. I tried it once and nearly wound up in the hospital because I cannot. Once those smoke particles hit my lungs, I have a horrific reaction.
So you're
Everything just shuts down.
You're actually quite lucky then, because I got to tell you, once you get a taste for it, and it don't take much. It
Yeah.
really don't take much. My first drag off a cigarette, I was 9 years old, walking down the sidewalk of Chicago, and somebody had tossed away their half-smoked cigarette. And being a 9-year-old with my buddy, because that would have looked cool, right? I picked it up and I took a toke off of it and nearly died. I'll tell you that. But I remember it. I remember it being minty, so it must have been like a Cool or a Salem or one of those Newport something. It was something. It was mentholy. And you know, I was years later. You know, I had a friend that was, you know, he's like, hey, here, man, have one. Come on, just have one. Just have one. And from there on, it was like 30 years before I could quit. And the crazy thing is when I quit, I literally just on a whim drove down to the vape shop, threw my cigarettes on the counter. I said, give me a replacement for that now. I was tired of feeling like shit all the time, because that's, you know, when you smoke for a long period of time, that's how you feel. You just feel like shit all the time. Yeah, and I got it. Yeah, well, were just maintenance. They were just maintenance. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the biggest hurdle I had was after a meal and when I was drinking. Those were the two biggest ones. But I'll be honest, once I got my vape, I don't. I mean, it's got the nicotine in it, so it's not like I'm completely free of nicotine. I'm just not smoking the nastiness. Yeah, that's the shit that was that's gonna. Well, I'm sure the nicotine is a neurotoxin. I mean, it's a known neurotoxin. So I'm still not out of the woods with that one, but I'm far better off, you know, just vaping a flavor and some nicotine than I am with arsenic and uh, ammonia and all this other shit that they treat the tobacco with just to put it in your cigarette. It's insane.
Yeah.
And God, I worked with a guy. This is back in the Marine Corps days. I worked with a guy. He was probably in his 30s, and I kid you not, from the moment he woke up, like he was smoking. He was just a complete freaking chain smoker. The entire day long, he was smoking. And he would get up in the morning, and it sounded like an old car trying to start.
That's the
and
neighbor.
and I, you know,
That is him upstairs.
I said to myself, go ahead, go ahead. Oh, yeah. I said to myself, man, if I ever sounded like that, I would just. There's no way I would ever quit. And I'd asked him a couple of times. I was like, man, why don't you just freaking quit? Like clearly you can't hack it anymore, man. Just give him up. He's like, and what he told me was, the only way I'm ever gonna quit smoking is if you take me to a goddamn island where there's no tobacco plants and just leave my ass there. There's no way I'm gonna quit. Even if you make it illegal, I'll find a way. And I was like, dude, that's freaking hardcore. But then I'm serious. I mean, I've quit before.
That was pretty, I mean, that was pretty much the attitude of a lot of the people on the ship when all of a sudden they were faced with, this is now a non-smoking ship, 5 minutes into Westpac.
Oh, fuck that.
Kind
Yeah.
of angry people.
Yeah, like, and the captain meant it too. He was ready to take to captain's mast anybody who was caught smoking on the ship until we got
Yeah.
into the next port, and it was 2 weeks to Hawaii.
Yeah, I started smoking when I was like maybe 15 or 16, and I went to boot camp, and we couldn't have been maybe one or two platoons behind the very first platoon they did this with. No smoking in boot camp whatsoever. No smoking lamp. It was completely cut off.
That'd
And
be miserable.
no, the
Painful.
crazy. See, this is the stupid thing about my life. The stupid thing about my life is I was addicted to cigarettes when I went in, but from the moment I stepped foot in boot camp, I didn't think about them 1 second.
That's different.
No, they keep you busy. Your mind is doing.
You are. Oh, I will agree with that. You get into boot camp and you barely have time to write your name.
Yeah, it's there was no time to do it if you had it, and
Yeah.
two, if you had the time to worry about it, you had way too much time on your hands, recruit. Now
Yep.
get down and give me 20, because you've
Yeah,
got too much time in your hands.
my husband at the time complained that I never wrote him in boot camp. And I was like, dude, it is boot camp. I am lucky I have time in the morning to remember to brush my teeth and take a poop.
Well, no, we were given the command to brush our teeth, and
We weren't told in the Navy. In the Navy, we're just expected to get up, take care of ourselves, but you had a total of, from the second you got out of your rack. Now, you could get out early if you woke up early. From the time you were rousted out of your rack, you had 3 minutes. Get dressed, make your bed, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, and get back to your rack in time for inspection, and you weren't even allowed to put on your uniform yet. Then, when your rack was inspected, it was good enough, you were allowed to put on your uniform and start the day. Which started
Wow.
out with a lot of cleaning, and it ended with a lot of exercise.
Well,
The very
well,
last thing we did before we climbed into our racks was in our t-shirts and shorts, we had to do push-ups.
yeah. Well, see, this is where the screwed up thing about this is. Um, so I was in boot camp, and I knew there were people that were still smoking in boot camp.
Yeah.
The basic gist of it is on Sunday you get to buy a newspaper at the chow hall if you so desire, because Sunday's kind of like a free day, but it isn't. Um, so the deal was if you gave the paper guy a $5 bill and told him to keep the change, you got a special paper.
Oh,
And
really?
every now and again, I'd walk into the head and I would smell it, and every now and again I'd find a cigarette butt floating in a toilet, and it was like, God damn it, people are smoking in here. What the fuck? And yet still I didn't even want one. And it wasn't until like it had to be a week, maybe 2 weeks before we graduated. We were real close, and I had a lot of tutelage before going into boot camp. I knew what to expect. I knew what they were going to do to me. I knew how to stay off the skyline, as they say, stay out of the radar.
Yeah.
Um, I was a low crawl Marine. I stayed off their radar as much as I could, and I never got called into the duty hut. I never got shat on totally by the drill instructors. Like there were people they just picked on, literally just
Yeah.
picked on because they could, and it seemed like they enjoyed it somewhat. But I stayed off that list, and like 2 weeks before I graduated, senior drill instructor steps out of the duty hut. He names off 3 names, me and 2 shitbirds, and I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck? How did? Well, how does he
Yeah.
even know
I
my
didn't
name?
do anything. I didn't do
Yeah.
anything.
He calls us
Yeah.
into the duty hut, and as we march our asses into his duty hut, he posts the fire watch at the front door and tells him to let him know if any officers come. And I'm like, oh fuck, what is going on? What is going on with this? He walks in the duty hut, rolls around to his desk. We're popped to attention, and he's like, at ease. And these are 2 words I haven't heard together. I mean, I know what they mean, but I hadn't heard them
You never
together.
expected them in that particular sense to apply to you.
No, at ease? No, we were either
Yeah.
at attention or we were at parade rest. There was no at ease. He was like,
Yeah.
at ease, at ease. You guys smoke, don't you? And we were all like, oh, this is crap.
No.
We're all like looking at each other. We're like, sir? And he was like, he reaches down, he grabs a pack of Marlboro Reds off of his desk, opens them up, puts one in his mouth, and he throws them to the first
Oh,
guy.
that's rude.
He throws them to the first guy. He doesn't catch them. They fall on the floor, and he's like, pick those up. He picks them up. He's like, do you want one? And he's like you can see it. This is like out of the corner of your eye. You can
This
see
is
it.
not
He's
like this has got to be a trick question.
Sir, yes, sir. He's like, go ahead, grab one. Pass it down. So he takes a cigarette. He passes down, takes a cigarette, passes down to me. I take a cigarette, and he's like, light them up. Smoking torch is lit. And I was like, what? And then he just went into this, like, I don't know, daddy thing where he was like, you guys are about to become Marines. I'm really proud of you. Da, 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 da. I know from your record books you guys smoke. That's why I called you in here. He just like gave us this long daddy speech. It was actually really cool and really sweet.
And really
But
creepy.
it gave me a taste for the tobacco again. I hadn't had that in like, I don't know, 10 weeks, something like that, 2 months, 2.5
Oh,
months.
that's wrong.
So when I graduated
I
boot
wouldn't.
camp,
Yeah, go ahead.
when I graduated boot camp, we got our dismissed. I did my 1 step back, my about face, and I marched off. And the first place I went, I kid you not, was the PX. I bought 1 pack of Salem's, a lighter. I walked down to the front steps of the PX and I lit a cigarette and I go, this is a crazy thing. In the back of my mind is like, I really deserve this cigarette. And from then on, I smoked until I quit.
Oh, see,
Isn't
he
that
did such a
insane?
terrible thing to you.
Yeah, but he did. He didn't. I don't know that I wouldn't have done the exact same. I don't blame him for that. I'm not going to blame him for that. But man, I got to tell you, when he called me into that duty hut, that was the furthest thing from my mind was getting a cigarette. That was not on my
So,
mind. It was all
so,
self-preservation at that point.
so our chief, our chief was forced to admit she could not punish us for smoking. She said, I can't disallow you from smoking. I can't tell you you can't smoke. She said, but one, good luck finding any because you didn't bring any. And I'm not, they don't sell any at the, they don't sell any at the boot camp store. If somebody gives you one and you are not on duty, you are welcome to smoke it. But one, we hardly had any off-duty time. And two, trying to find one was hell on earth. So most of the girls who did smoke came out of boot camp having stopped smoking for that 12-week period. I have no idea how many actually stopped from then on.
Wait,
But
you were in,
some of them had to have stopped.
you
We
were in,
were allowed.
but you were in boot camp and had off-duty time.
We were in boot camp. There was a very limited amount of off-duty time. When we had finished we had finished our work, and then there was, a small amount of time when, you could, write your letters, do extra ironing work, whatever, go to the bathroom and take an extended pee if you wanted. That was always nice.
This is the learning experience for me because I had a friend that went through Air Force and he was talking about his rainbows and I was like, "What's a rainbow?" He's like, "Your civvy clothes." I was like, "Civvy? Your civilian clothes? While you're in boot camp? What are you talking about? What's?" And now you're talking about off-duty time. I'm telling you, you go to Marine Corps.
We didn't have we didn't have civilian clothes. I mean,
we didn't have off-duty time. Your moment of silence was after church on Sunday for about an hour, where you could write letters. That was your quiet time. Every other
that was Marines. That was Marines. In Navy we were expected to have more brains.
No, you're not allowed to have brains in Marine Corps boot camp.
You leave
that at home when you check in. No.
We had to make decisions for ourselves. We were encouraged to make decisions for ourselves. In very rare circumstances, there was a test, a specific test, where Chief would say something purposely wrong. And she would look at you and she would watch the expression on your face as you tormented yourself. And then you had to take your poor little soul, your life, in your little hands, and you had to extend it out to Chief and say, "Chief, that's permission to disagree, Chief, because that's not right."
I'm not going to say.
If you were wrong, you died. But if you were right, she looked at you and smiled, which was scary, but at least she let you live.
See, I'm not going to say that the Marine Corps completely stomps that out of you, And case in point, this is my second duty station. Second duty station, Inspector General uh, inspection, and
I was about to
literally
say, Inspector General Javert.
we're yeah we're all standing on line. We're popped to attention. We've had our wall lockers inspected, and they're going over our uniforms and our the way we march and all that crap. And
Your A and B drawers are all sat.
the general's like tooling along through the platoon there, and he stops in front of me, does this little pump, sir, pop your salute. You just say your name, rank, serial number, all that bullshit, and then he starts grilling you. And the question he gave to me was, "What was the Marine Corps' role in the Revolutionary War?" And I don't know what got into my head. I honestly don't. I thought it was a trick question. I was like, "Sir, the Marine Corps wasn't part of the Revolutionary War." No, dude, you're the wrong answer, man. And he made me right. I kid you not. He was like, "You sure about that answer?" "Sir, yes, sir." He's like, "Would you bet a 6-pack of beer on that answer?" "Sir, yes, sir." And then he explained it to me. Yeah, and that's pretty much what happened to me.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what it sounded like.
and then he explained it to me and made me write a 6-page report and deliver it with a 6-pack of beer to his headquarters. And yeah, okay, I learned a valuable lesson. You don't get to be a general if you don't know shit.
Yeah. Did you
I
get
learned
did did you get a security review?
no. I don't know why I thought it was a trick question. The Marine Corps was literally formed before the country was formed.
Yeah.
The Marine Corps birthday is November 10th. November 10th, 1775.
And you didn't remember that.
And yeah, it's in Tun Tavern. I had I thought, oh yeah, we formed the Marine Corps, but we sat on our asses for that first year. We didn't want anything to do with that revolutionary bullshit because we're Marines. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, and it's actually a really good story. There's really good storylines in there, learning about how we bootstrapped the Navy. We went out and Marines went out and stole the ships of the Continental Navy from the
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
That's how we got our Navy. So yeah, that's why we're the first and the best. Well, I don't know if we're the best, but we're definitely
Well, not if you
Marines.
can't remember. Not if you can't remember that.
Oh, great googly moogly. To be honest though, I bought him the cheapest 6-pack of beer I could find. It was like Pabst Blue Ribbon or some bullshit. I
Yes,
wouldn't drink it today. There's
sir.
no way.
Mad Dog 2020 for the general. No, our our security review happened not in boot camp, but when we went to our schools. And it depended on, okay, so bosun's mates didn't get a security review. Gunner's mates had to have a security review because we were the ones that checked in all the experimental equipment that came on the ship. So we'd be dragged into an admiral.
Ew.
Yeah, an admiral.
They dragged you in an admiral? That's nasty.
They dragged you in to see an admiral. And when I say drag, I don't mean invited. I mean, they just walked into the classroom, grabbed me by the scruff of the collar, hauled me out of my seat like I had done something wrong, and dragged me down to see the admiral. Like the last thing I remember was just being shoved in the room and the door slamming behind me. And then The Admiral told me this is confidential. You will keep it to yourself. Blah 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 blah. Told me the thing. Open the door. Off you go. I was like, I, uh, I had no idea what happened. Absolutely no idea. All I knew was that I'd been told something I wasn't allowed to tell to anybody else. That's your security review, is that to see if you can just keep that shit to yourself. And if you couldn't, that was the end of it. Like, you got a nice little bye. And sometimes it would be the same admiral questioning you on it that gave you the information in the first place. And you had to tell him that you couldn't tell him that because you weren't allowed to tell anybody what you'd been told, which was the correct thing to say. It was very confusing and mystifying. You just had no idea what was going on. I don't know if they still do that or not. Hope they don't. But that was a security review.
Hello? Hello.
I don't think it just faded.
Am I still here?
You're still here.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
still here.
You're not here.
Yeah. We had similar, I don't know if you call them tests or challenges or what you would call them, but I'll tell you what it taught me. It taught me how to take things to my goddamn grave.
Yes, absolutely.
There are things in my head that I will never repeat to another human being, so help me God, till I die.
Me?
Like
I
maybe
never
on my
learned
deathbed.
that.
No, maybe on my
I never
deathbed.
learned that.
No,
Yes.
maybe on my deathbed. I might give up a couple of secrets in my delirium as I'm leaving for the other place. But
A good place?
well, we can only hope really the good place and not the bad place, pretending to be the good place just to torture me.
Oh,
But I can tell you there are things that I know, and in this traverses, even past my Marine Corps life. People have told me things. They go in, they just never come out. It's okay. Thank you for that piece of information, and I will never repeat that again to another soul. So help me God.
Yep.
It's just not gonna help. It's not gonna happen. If you
I
want
don't
to
feel
tell
like
them,
it teaches,
help people.
I feel like it teaches you to be a bit of a better human.
the world needs more better humans. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The humans we have right now are substandard, subpar.
If you can keep, if there is some crap you can keep to yourself, that makes you a better human.
Faded
Well,
again.
not all things should be kept though. There's
No, there are some things that need to be, spoken about quite loudly.
well,
But when you're dealing with, things that are told to you in confidence, then
well, even
99% of the time it's something you should probably take with you to the grave.
yeah, that's just being a good sport in my book. I mean, I don't know.
It depends on what it is. I mean, if they're like, don't tell anyone, but I killed somebody.
Okay, that's not something you need to keep to your grave.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably something I might hurt them for because why would you tell me that?
I know.
What's wrong with you?
That. Get away.
Why would you tell me that? Don't put that on me.
I don't want to know that. What's it, self-defense? Now you got to ask all these questions.
That's like crapping in a bag and lighting it on fire and ringing the doorbell, man. That's just wrong. Don't do that.
Yeah. I would not like that. I'd be like, get away from me.
See, and that's that 0.01% where you just go, yeah, I'm not keeping that to myself.
You just admitted, oh god, now I'm just freaked out even thinking about it. Then you gotta be like, who? What? Why? How?
Why would you? Why?
What? Why are you telling me this now? Why? Tell the police. Y'all want to know why I'm smiling? Y'all want to?
You got
Cause
tacos.
Nope.
You
Choco
got illegal
tacos.
drugs.
Nope.
You got
You got legal.
chocolate.
Wait, you got legal drugs.
Nope. Well, I do, but that's not why I'm smiling.
Wine.
Nope.
Wine.
Nope.
You
In
taught the
fact,
dog to sit up.
no, they're asleep.
Is it something you got?
Nope.
Oh,
Is
well,
it
there goes my
some?
hope of a new job for you.
Is it something you could spread?
In a way, yes.
Oh,
Is it
I,
is
I
it
wasn't looking
something
for
you
a
can
yes
do?
there.
No.
Is it a new skill? No?
Well,
Oh,
it
new
is something I
skill.
could do, I guess. I have done it a few times since we've been on this call.
Wait, Lola's got COVID? No.
No, it's not
You,
COVID,
it's not
but it
COVID
is
related.
fire. It's spreading like wildfire, huh?
It's not COVID related?
No, not really.
Wait, did you loot a Taco Bell? Because I don't want to know if you did.
No. She
No.
said it's something spreading.
Okay, good. She said no. She heard what I said. I don't want to know if you did.
It's actually trending.
Trending.
Hashtag loot
trending.
Taco Bell.
Nope.
She didn't loot a Taco Bell.
In
We'd all
here.
be down there if she'd looted a Taco Bell.
I'd be eating
Bong.
Bell if I looted a Taco Bell. I'd have a bean burrito. I don't eat the meat from there because God only knows what that is, but I'll eat bean burritos.
Oh, the
Your
good news. The meat is actually beans.
Well, that's them, and I can eat any one of them I want, as long as it's not like weird parts or anything. But I was
Your
looking at Twitter and
interviews-
looking at,
Yeah. Go ahead.
and I thought about clicking on this, but then I just got curious. There's a hashtag,
Oh shit.
something like "We need Trump now more than ever,"
Oh lord.
and
She's a
I know. I was
Republican.
like, I
That's
thought,
why
well, I
she's
thought
smiling.
I should hit on this and see who I follow is tweeting this. And when I clicked on it, it's a bunch of K-pop videos. And the K-pop people have hijacked the hashtag and started tweeting K-pop videos along with messages that are anti-Trump.
K-pop hates Trump.
Yep, I don't.
Or they
blame you.
love him. You don't know. You don't know.
No,
You don't know.
no, they're pretty sarcastic. I retweeted a few of them, and I'm just smiling looking through at all the tweets. And then you'll see a few where like they're pro-Trump. They're like, "This is trending, MAGA," and I didn't say anything, but I want to say, pay attention.
Yeah.
They're not pro-Trump. There's a lot of F words in there, and a lot of mentions of prison time. So
Well,
that just made me smile, huh?
I followed a Trump supporter today and
Wow.
a COVID denier and flat earther. So only two people. One was a COVID denier and a flat earther, and the other was a Trump supporter.
You did that on purpose?
I did.
Why?
Do you? Okay. Yeah, I probably should explain myself, right?
Yeah, it would help.
Here's the thing. I vastly believe the problem with this country is we live in bubbles. So
Okay.
my bubble is you and Linda, and you know the small number of people I associate in real life, my wife, and that, right? And we all kind of have the same viewpoint in the world, right?
Yeah.
The other side of the tracks, we'll call them the Trump supporters. They live in their bubble. They think he's great, and they think Mexicans are bad, and I don't really on it. I'm not going to say what they think because I don't know what they think, right? And I can't know what they think unless I become part of their bubble. Like I actually immerse myself in the space in the stuff that they're swimming in.
which is
And
super distasteful.
it is. And I feel so dirty looking at some of it because my mind is just like how can you even think this? How can you believe this? There's there was someone I followed today on not only YouTube but also MeWe. Same person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's very pro-military. She's pro-police. She's pro-Trump. She's very make America great again. And I'm really desperately trying to understand why are you not speaking out against the things that you see that are wrong, but rather saying, you know, our police have a hard job. And I agree. I don't disagree with that. Our police have a hard job, but she's completely ignoring the points of police needing to be accountable for their actions. And I just kind of want to be part of their world to see how they think. I'm trying to figure these people out because I don't understand them. So
Try
I'm
to
I'm
do them.
yeah, I'm trying to do the engineer thing, right? When you see something happen and it doesn't jive with your understanding of the world, you study it more. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put more of these people in my life. I've got a cousin that is just so pro Trump that
Oh,
it makes me want to vomit. I'll be honest. And I love the guy to death. He's my cousin. He's an ex-Marine. And we share a lot of commonalities, but
mhm.
we diverge vastly when it comes to politics. And I'm just trying to understand people like that. Like how do they get to be
You
that way?
need to come to me. I could tell you all about my cousin. See, I don't have to follow Trumpsters because I'm related to a lot of them. That's why.
Well, I am too, and but see, that's the thing is I disavowed I only know about my cousin because my wife is Facebook friends with him, and I don't even know why she did that. But that's on her, not on me. I, I that's why I don't do Facebook. My entire family's on Facebook, and I want nothing to do with 99% of my family. I've disavowed them. I don't. Maybe I'm the black sheep, or maybe I'm the only white sheep in the family. I don't know, but I don't want anything to do with those people.
I don't think any of my family is pro-Trump. Well, I mean, I only have like what one, two family in the United States. I don't think any of them are. And most of them are in
Like,
Canada. I don't even know which ones are in Germany. I don't. They wouldn't be pro-Trump.
I would hope not,
I
although his
have.
dad was German.
I
They
have
might be.
blocked quite. I have blocked quite a few friends recently.
See, I almost said something racist right there.
What?
You said, yeah, you said part of your family's in Germany, and they wouldn't be pro-Trump, and I was just like, Mein Kampf. Oh, that's
Oh.
right. But you know what? I
Okay,
got a lot.
Dylan Moran has a skit in which he, he talks about people who are, people who are talking to other people from Germany, and people who are German come over and they're saying, we're not perfect, but we're our economy's gaining and blah 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 blah, and he says, and you're just looking at them and thinking, Germany, Hitler, 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 Hitler,
Think
Hitler.
about that.
Right? It's
It's
it's like the elephant in the room. Like let's talk about Hitler and
There was
but
totally.
a Seinfeld episode.
but
There was
that's
a
not
Seinfeld.
yeah. Like that's not even a part of the entire scenario anymore because we're now generations removed.
Well, no, it's was it Gödel's law? Godwin's law. Godwin's law. Are you familiar with it?
I'd have to refresh myself on it. I don't remember it now.
The essentials of Godwin's law is any mention of Hitler completely invalidates all arguments. So if you get in a flame war with somebody and somebody
Oh.
mentions Hitler, now suddenly all arguments are off the table because you mentioned Hitler. He retracted that. He retracted that a couple of years ago. You know why?
Yeah.
You do?
No, I don't know why. Why? Why did he retract it?
Because it was impossible to talk about Trump without mentioning Hitler. I kid you not.
Well,
he invalidated his own law because it's impossible to talk about Trump without mentioning Hitler. Which tells you which camp he's in,
say
right?
it's wrong because, yeah.
He's not wrong. Yeah, no, he's not wrong.
What? Lola?
Huh?
Were you gonna say something?
Oh, about 5 minutes ago, but I got talked over as usual.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not even looking at my screen. I'm just.
I get talked over every time I try to say something. I was kind of crying last week because I couldn't get a word in. That's why I end up looking at websites.
We're sorry. We really are.
Yeah. I was trying to say there was an episode of Seinfeld, and I remember this 20-something years after. I think he was in a restaurant or something, and he came across these ladies from Germany, and he was so tongue-tied trying not to mention the war that he ended up talking about the war, and the girl started crying. And I always remember that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's a tough subject, but it really needs to be talked about because, quite honestly, I don't think you can overtalk it. I honestly don't think you can. It's
the
something.
whole fascist, anti-fascist thing, the whole Antifa and fascist thing here in America is huge. That it's become a giant. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. Well, someone had mentioned Illinois neo-Nazis to me, and I was like, yeah, that's really a thing. Like,
I'm sure it is. They're everywhere.
You saw it in the Blues Brothers, and it was kind of funny in the Blues Brothers, but it's a real thing. There is a neo-Nazi movement, a very strong neo-Nazi movement in northern central Illinois. There's a bunch of them there. I don't know why. I don't know why that's where they decided to settle and do their thing, but they're there and they're not going anywhere apparently. They're still a thing.
Yeah, and it's scary. I mean, they never really went away, but the last few years it feels like they're emboldened and they're coming out of the cracks.
I honestly don't mind that much. I want them to come out of the cracks. I want them to show themselves in the sunlight. I want them to be identified so that hopefully later on we can fix that. I don't know how we'll fix that, but I mean, it's not going to be,
I do and I don't. I want them to be ashamed of their behavior, but yes, I want to know who they are.
Yeah.
They won't. I don't think they'll ever be ashamed.
Yeah.
When you're that sociopathic and sick, I mean, there are some people who say they've, broken away and turned the corner and all that stuff. It's just hard to fathom if you're that morally screwed up. I mean,
no, I can see how someone can turn the corner and see how they might have been wrong. I've known a lot of Christians that have gone, I won't say anti-Christian, but non-Christian.
Yeah.
And they've they came to an epiphany in their life where they said, you know what, maybe this doctrine that I've been fed all this time isn't correct. Maybe it's not accurate. Maybe there's just the earth and me, and that's it. There's no afterlife, maybe there's no this, maybe there's no that. And they start questioning things, and they've come to a conclusion that the book that I read when I was 5, that my mother read to me when I was 5, is maybe not all that true. Maybe some of it's made up. And I can get how somebody can turn the corner and come to new conclusions. I'd like to think that I've got enough of an open mind and I'm enough of a skeptic that if I'm presented with a good enough argument about something, I can change my mind about it. And I can't necessarily cite any examples where that's happened, because I really feel like it's been happening my entire life. Like if you come to me and say, "Oh no, magic is real," and you give me very good examples and proof why magic is real, I might start to believe a little bit that magic is real. It's a pretty steep hill to climb for you, but if you can do that, I'll be here. I'll listen. I want to see all the things the universe has to offer, and the only way to do that is to not deny yourself access to any of those viewpoints, right?
Well, so I don't take a violent dislike to the people who the whole crystals can heal you and that junk. But I feel like that's not as actively harmful as somebody who is abominably locally racist. I want them to feel ashamed of being racist. I want them to feel like they have to hide in a closet. That's I want them to realize how wrong they are and then go, "Oh, well, I still believe it, but I shouldn't be out here." I don't know which I want more. I don't know whether I want to, have a. I don't even know if it's possible to have an adult discussion with them. Is it possible to have an adult discussion with somebody who is truly racist and change their mind? I don't think I could do it.
I don't know. I don't know how you. To me, that's something that you should be born with, knowing that people are people and that everyone deserves the same chance. That's just something you should be born with. And if you don't have that, it means there's something wrong. And I don't know if you can talk someone out of being like that. I don't know.
I don't think we're ever
People.
born racist. I think we are taught to be racist.
Yeah.
We are.
I just don't know if we get to that point, if anybody's argument is going to cause you to not be racist anymore.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I have stitches from that.
You have
Yes,
stitches from trying to get somebody to not be racist?
No, how old was I? 5, maybe? I think I was like 5. I was like kindergarten, maybe first grade, 5, 6. I
what happened?
probably said, I don't know what I said. To be honest with you, it's been that long. I don't know what I said. I said something to a friend. At least I thought he was my friend at the time. And he took it as kind of a racist comment. He was black.
Uh-oh.
And he beat the living shit out of me.
Oh my God.
He cracked my head open. I had to go get stitches on the back of my head. I still have the scar. Like when I shave my head, I can still see the scar. But at the time, like I grew up in Chicago, we had Latinos, we had Asians, we had black people, we had white people. It was just a total mishmash of people, and I don't know what it was I said, but it offended him. And I'm not going to say, some black people are racist, but some black people are racist, or are looking, or maybe are
Definitely prejudice.
their radar's up on racist comments. And I said something that offended him. He beat the shit out of me. And I'm not going to say he was wrong to do that. I'm sure I've never said it again. I honestly don't know what I said, but I'm sure I was just stating something that I saw or perceived, and then the shit got beat out of me, and I still to this day don't know why. But
So if he had told you, "Hey, that's fucking racist,"
if he had
would you?
educated me, I wouldn't. I
So
probably
if
wouldn't
he
have
had
known
just
the
told
word.
you, that's a racist thing to say. You shouldn't say that. Would you have accepted it, or
I I
would you have?
honestly I honestly don't think I would have known what the word meant back then. I can remember. Okay, so this is kind of, I don't know if it's a traumatic experience. It's an experience that I had.
Yeah.
That's engraved into my being to this day. So this school I went to was over in Cicero in Chicago. Um, and the school was K through 12, all the way. It was the like K all the way up through 12. Like the entire school district was in that school. Um, I want to say the name of the school was John Hay, and it had to have been either kindergarten or first grade. Well, first grade's when this happened. Kindergarten or first grade, the thing that with me and Cecil happened. I still remember his name, Cecil. Cecil, if you're out there, I'm still pissed that you cracked my head open. I still don't know why, but okay, dude, you got me good. But in first grade, I witnessed a teacher being flayed with a baseball bat laden with, I don't know, 16 penny nails or spikes, or I don't know what you want to call it, but there was apparently there was a race war or a uh, I don't know. There was some shit going on in this. Thanks, Google. There was some shit going on, and I saw a teacher getting beat up by a student that was probably, I don't know, a senior, junior, sophomore. I don't know. He was an older student. Uh, he was a person of color. The teacher was white, and
Mhm.
that was what was going on in those days. This was 1970. This is my age. 1970 mid something, and that was what was going on then. And scary thing to me now is that's kind of what's going on now. There's this uneasiness between people that are not exactly the freaking same. You can't put a Becky and a Karen in the same room and they're not, someone's going to call the police, right?
Yeah.
It's wrong. I mean, it's wrong. It's just wrong. Why can't we just all be people and relate to one another rather than try and pull in these other forces to get them on our side and wage war against the other side? It's not. There's no side. I'm not on a damn side. I'm here. I just want to be here. I don't want to be on your side. I don't want to be on his side. I just want to be here. I want to be left
Mhm.
alone. That's why I kind of like quarantine. That's why I'm a weird.
Quarantine. Yeah. That. Well, even quarantine hasn't saved us from.
It's exacerbated it for some people because some people just don't want to be alone. They want to be out in the world, but the world is full of other people and other bubbles.
Yeah.
And when the bubbles touch, there's got to be some kind of conflict, and I don't understand why. I really honestly don't understand why. I mean, in nature, when two bubbles touch, what happens is the membrane between the two bubbles pop, and it makes a big bubble. But in real life, when two bubbles touch, one of them has to annihilate the other, and that's wrong to me. It goes against nature. Nature wants to make a big bubble. Be in my bubble, people. Come on, everybody, come in my bubble. Come on in. Come on in. I'll
Be
make
in the
you
bubble.
quiche. I'll make you quiche.
Hashtag be the bubble. See the
We'll
bubble.
serve,
Be the
we'll
bubble.
serve up some stew. You'll get a beer. It'll all be good.
We have chocolate for dessert and for
What?
breakfast. Chocolate for dessert.
God,
Chocolate.
chocolate. Now I want a goddamn Reese's again. Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Linda.
Hashtag thanks, Linda.
Fuck.
You're welcome.
Lola, you have chocolate?
I do somewhere. Oh, I actually have some right here, over here. Why?
I'm coming to your, I'm coming to your house. I'll be there in a minute. I'll be there in a Tennessee minute.
I've got this.
I don't know how long a Tennessee minute is actually.
Huh?
I don't know. I don't
Ferraro
actually know.
Rocher. She's got Ferraro Rocher.
She's got real chocolate.
Eat one.
She's
I
got
might
nice
eat one.
chocolate.
She's got hazelnuts.
Yeah, I might just eat one. If I had that party foul, I can afford a few calories.
I'm gonna lick the video camera. Look at that. Lola's got something we can't have.
See, those are right up there. Remember the Tofers?
Yes, Toblerone. Oh, Toblerone.
I love Toblerone. That was always my favorite.
Toblerone. Yeah, Toblerone.
Shay loves Toblerone too.
Oh man, listen to that crunch.
That.
Oh
Yep.
God, you can hear it. You can hear it. She didn't even have the mic up there. You can hear it.
Smell the hazelnuts from here.
Damn it, Lola, you suck. Look at her. Look at her. Just na 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 na.
She's got the McDonald's burger.
I got McDonald's. I got McDonald's.
I got Ferraro, and you don't got none.
It makes me feel better. I can't chew it on this side because I'm missing so many teeth. So maybe that makes you feel better.
No.
Well, chocolate, I don't think you really need to chew chocolate anyway. You know, you just shove it in there, wait until it melts, and then swallow it. It's all good.
Sit back and wait for it, yeah. Just.
And then when the old age home nurse comes to try to pry it out of your mouth, you bite them.
No, I don't want to waste my chocolate by biting her. I want to keep all the chocolate in my mouth. I'll slap her.
Yeah.
Be like Yoda. She's gonna take her.
Get away from my Ferrero Rocher. Ferrero Rocher.
You get to that age where you're just like constantly licking your lips.
Is that because old people always have chocolate in their mouths, or they just remember the taste of chocolate?
Oh, I don't know. I watched. I'd
be more than happy if people tried to shut me up by feeding me chocolate all the time. That's it. I'm gonna become the grumpy old lady who talks all the time. People have to shove chocolate in my mouth, shut me up.
You know, I watched. I'm all over YouTube, so I watch a lot of damn YouTube all day long, even when I'm supposed to be working. I watched a video, Nona. So do you remember the grandma from, I don't know, 5-7 years? I guess it was 5. I want to say 5 years ago. That was blowing out her birthday cake and her dentures came out when she was blowing.
No.
Like there's a whole meme of it. It's hilarious. Yeah, she kind of went viral, and they did an update 5 years later. And she has such an interesting. Oh my God, what a wonderful human being. She's all talking about how her husband was such an abusive bastard, and like one day she came home and she's like, if you don't get out of my house, I'm gonna take this pot and I'm gonna hit you upside the head. And then like they show the pot and it's got this big fucking dent in it.
Oh
Oh my god, she kept the pot.
She whacked him good. She whacked him good. 107 years old. She's still going. She's still making meatballs with the family, like they still do.
no.
And I'm very much in tune with my older people. I love people that have been on this earth way longer than I have, because there is so much wisdom buried deep within that life. Like
Yeah.
I don't care how old you are now. You're gonna get something out of a conversation with that person. I don't care how old you are. You're gonna get something. Yeah, no.
Ah, I found it. Okay, I found it. I found the video. Sorry.
Oh, is that the teeth?
She loses her teeth, yes.
Yeah, she just blows them right out of her mouth. Plah! And then she laughs about it,
Yes. Okay.
which shows you what a cool person she is, right? 'Cause she can laugh at herself. But yeah, it was very enlightening to hear from her, 5 years later, and she's just talking about
Yeah.
she's talking about her life experience and things that she's seen in her day, and things that probably wouldn't fly nowadays. I mean, her husband apparently was a real shit bird of
Yeah.
sorts. But back in the day, you had a husband and he was keeping a roof over your head, so you tolerated a certain amount of abusive behavior to a point. But she whacked him good with that pot. She whacked him good with that pot. That pot had a big old freaking dent in it. She still has the pot. He's probably not still walking this earth, but she's still got the pot with the imprint of his head on it. And I'm just like, yeah.
Wow. She's 107.
Yeah, that's always been my and you probably know this about me by now. That's always been my weak point. I'm a sucker for a strong woman.
Yep.
Women, I'll tell you what, man, do not piss off a woman. I am telling you right now. You can piss off a guy, and you can get away with so much with a guy. Where with you piss off the wrong woman, you're not coming back from that ever, ever.
Well, I mean, I am fairly forgiving.
Yeah, well, yeah, Chay's
Chocolate.
just nodding, and yeah, he's nodding in agreement, right?
Chocolate makes up for some things.
Is what?
He said I'm only half psycho.
Yeah,
Oh.
partially. Yeah. He's-
Partially, just partially.
He's just saying that to stay alive tonight. Che, I'm looking at your picture right now. Blink if you're in trouble. Blink. He's not blinking. Okay, I guess he's all right.
It's only been 8 years. It's not long enough for an insurance payout yet.
Yeah, well, he's got all that Robin Hood stock. You can live off his dividends for a while. It's all about the dividends.
All about the dividends. Oh, I gotta go take a shower now.
Oh,
Yep.
I was mentioned it in chat. I was watching Counterpart. I finally finished
That's
it.
such a good show. I love that show.
I'm
Wait,
a bit.
Counterpart? What?
It's on Prime
is
now.
it?
You can watch it on Prime. It's
Really good.
it's a story about they give most of this away in the very first episode. It's a story about a world where somewhere back, I don't know, 30 years ago, a thing happened and it duplicated the Earth, perfectly duplicated the Earth.
In Germany. It started in Germany.
In Berlin, on the east side of the wall in Berlin, perfectly duplicated the Earth, and there was a portal between the two worlds. And you find out, I think, in the second season what happened to change things between the two worlds. Like it was a very minor, very, very minor thing, but it just kind of snowballed into this world is this way and that world is that way. And now they're kind of treated like two separate countries where there's like this interface and diplomacy and a lot of horse trading, like you give me this guy back and I'll give you this technology, or you give me that technology and I'll give you that guy back, and that sort of thing going on. So it's kind of like a Cold War situation between these two entire worlds, and the politics around it and management. Oh my god, management. Oh, management.
I love it so much.
Oh, and it was the thing I really liked about it was the one guy was from Humans.
Help out which guy?
The black guy
Oh
in
yeah,
management.
he was one of yeah, he was one of the managers. Yeah, that's right. I've forgotten about that.
Yeah, I mean I think that came out before Humans. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think it was after Humans, or maybe close to the same time.
I
'Cause
don't
it,
know, but that's where I recognized him was from Humans, and I was like,
yeah,
"Oh my god, it's that!" And he's such a great actor. Oh my god,
it's
he's such a good
good.
actor. And the thing, I digress. I got off the track. The whole reason I brought this up is uh, we are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
What's that guy's name? I can't.
Oh, I just said his name the other day.
Stacy Delaney.
I
Fuck,
just said
what's
his
his
name
name?
like a week ago.
But anyway,
Simmons.
Simmons. Yeah. So
Simmons.
the thing I love the most about Counterpart is he plays himself in two different worlds.
And he
And,
does such a great job.
and between the two different worlds, he has completely different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to God, every moment that he was on screen, I knew which Howard he was.
Mm-hmm. But
It
it's the
didn't.
way he walked, the way he carried himself.
Yeah, the way he talked, the way he walked, just the facial expression, the lines on his, like somehow he was able to change the lines on his face to reflect the different Howards, and I was just like, my mind's literally blown by this actor. And also, he was in Lady Killers.
I've heard of that.
Oh, you've never seen it?
Mm-mm.
Tom Hanks, Lady Killers. Good God, it's got to be on Prime or Netflix, one of the two. Go
Okay.
watch it tonight. You will love this movie.
Okay.
It is a great movie, and I just have so much more respect for J.K. Simmons as an actor after seeing this, because his portrayal was so true to the character that he was playing, even though he's playing the same person in two different worlds. The fact that you can like just pick him out and go, "Ah, that's Howard Prime. Oh no, that's regular Howard." You just, it's crazy. It's crazy how that happens. And I still lost my point in getting to that, but that was kind of my point. Whatever we were talking about 5 minutes ago, that was my point. Was about that. I'm not sure what it was, but it
Talking
made me think
about
of that.
Counterpart.
Counterpart.
Go watch Counterport.
So good. And the lady who's in it, she's been around forever. She was in The Sixth Sense.
Oh yeah. Oh, the wife.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's a great actress.
she is
She is
awesome.
really a great actress, and her character as well. I would say probably 95% of the time I could tell which one she
Mm-hmm.
was just by the demeanor, just by the look on the face, because she kind of, her alter ego is also
Harder.
somewhat, she's somewhat different. I really think they're kind of more the same person than Howard is. Like
Yeah.
Howard and Howard Prime are two completely different people.
Mhm.
Like their entire view of the
Totally
world is different. Yeah, but when it comes to the wife, they're more similar. They just have different, I guess, different goals in life is the thing.
But I was really shocked at the end. I won't spoil it, but when you find out just how involved the two Emilys are, it's like, wow, it blew my mind.
Oh yeah, there's a story, and then there's a sub story, and then there's a sub story.
There's a lot.
And the thing that the only thing about the entire show that irritated me is they canceled the show,
Mm-hmm.
and then that there's that very very last scene, like the last 30 seconds of the show.
You'll have to remind me. I don't remember.
I
Or-
don't want to.
Don't,
I don't want
don't
to.
get
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but
Okay.
that last 30 seconds, if they would have clipped that away, we would have had a clean break, right? It would have been okay. Story start
Done.
getting hints here, and then they just added. They didn't add it in. I'm sure they. I'm sure it was there because they were going for another season. That last 30 seconds where the the guy who created the hole,
Oh. Yeah.
where he had a problem.
Yeah.
If they'd have left that out, I'd feel like I had a story from beginning to end and there was no unanswered questions. But that last 30 seconds right there in the park, I was just like, God damn it, why'd you put that? Like now there's all these other questions that now come to light, and I know there's not another season. God, I really hope somebody would pick that up, but I don't think you could, because it's like any other series. You know, once it gets dropped, all the actors go to the wind, and you lose all the great talent. That was what happened with Dark Matter and so many other great things. I'm kind of glad Expanse got picked up as quick as it did, but I really wish some of these streaming services would be more vultures than they have been in the past, and pick some of these good shows up and carry them on where they know they've already got a great fan base.
Would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I really have to go now. I got to take a shower.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a different word that started with an SH. A shave.
No. Well, a
Okay,
shave.
you
Well,
want to- Oh, shave?
I wish the barbers would open.
And I got to go take a shave.
Yeah, actually, I think I should.
I will be your mother.
Well, like,
I
you don't
will
need
be
to
your
change
father.
anything. You're perfect the way you are.
Thank you. My hair's starting to fade, but I don't think I'm ever gonna do this hair dye again, anyways, because it still gets everywhere. If my
Everywhere,
hair,
yeah.
would that happen when you would dye your hair blue and all these colors?
Did
A little bit for a
Did you-
while.
you guys happen to catch how where we've come to in our society in this pandemic? What's the guy's name? Jerry, the guy from Sliders, Jerry
O'Connell.
O'Connell. Jerry
what
O'Connell
about-
has a show on network TV now where he connects stars to their hairstylists. The hair over Zoom. And the hairstylists explain to them how they need to do whatever it is they need to do, and then these stars do it, and we all see how it comes out. That's the whole freaking
awesome.
show. The first
Yeah.
the first
That's
one
a
was
good idea.
it was Kelly Osbourne, and he connected Carrie Osborne with her hairstylist, and he's like, yeah, just put the purple goop in your hand and just like rub it in deeper. Oh, make sure you get all those gray spots. Make sure you get all those because she was trying to change her hair to purple, and it was just like, I can't believe I'm watching this. Like this is literally I've been through
This is
27
entertainment now.
channels.
Yeah.
I've been through 27 channels, and this is literally the best thing on right now. I'm watching Kelly Osbourne color her freaking hair lavender, and I'm hoping to God that she used enough purple goop,
Mm-hmm.
because if she didn't, it's just gonna be a train wreck,
Yeah.
and Sharon's gonna have a fit.
Sharon's hair is blonde. I saw her on a show a few weeks ago. It's like ice blonde.
Yeah, yeah, she's like almost she's like white, yeah.
Hmm. I don't know if
Yep.
she did that by herself. That
But
would be kind of hard to do.
but that's the world. So maybe I need to get you on Jerry O'Connell's show so he can connect you up with a hairstylist, and they can explain to you how to cut and style your hair and get the right color in there that you're going for.
Good idea.
Yeah, I'll work on that right along with you don't know, because I gotta tell you, I'm actually trying to deal with PR people, and PR people are not in the house these days. I'm so falling down. 2 weeks, man. 2 weeks. I've got so many emails, so many phone calls, and I've not got a single, not even a go f yourself. Nothing.
Yeah.
Just nothing. I get nothing. Like
Well, maybe next
falling on the
maybe
floor.
next maybe next week will be better.
I'm gonna keep trying. I do have
Keep
a
trying.
backup. I do have a backup, but I don't want to wait too long to pull in my backup, because even my backup's gonna take a little doing. But
Yeah. Keep
my
going.
backup,
I'm sure
my
you'll get there with somebody.
my backup won't be as glorious as my first. As the one I really wanted to be the first. But you roll with the punches, you take your bruises, and you just kind of keep rolling on.
Yep.
That's how we get forward.
And I will talk to you guys later.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
y'all have a great night.
Yep.
You
I'm gonna get
too.
another order of Badger stew and a couple more beers, and then I'm gonna go to bed.
It's a good idea. Bye.
Bye. Badger.